They told me I was born to dance. That my legs were too long to waste, that my back was too straight to bend for anything less than perfection. I was 5 when I wore my first pair of pink slippers, standing in front of a mirror that would become both my sanctuary and my prison. Back then, I thought ballet was about grace, about beauty, about the way the music wrapped around your body and made you feel like you were floating. No one told me that beauty could break you in silence. When you're a teenage ballerina, life stops being yours. You don't live days, you live rehearsals. School becomes a blur between studio hours, and meals aren't about hunger, they're about control. You learn early that control is everything. Control your weight, control your lines, control your face so no one sees the pain behind the smile. They call it discipline. I called it survival. I was 13 when I realized that every compliment had a shadow. You look light, they said, like it was praise, but I heard the warning underneath. I started counting almonds. I started hiding my hunger like it was shame. Pain became a language I spoke fluently, my toes bleeding inside satin shoes, my hips aching after endless pirouettes. The studio smelled like sweat and resin, and sometimes, like failure. Failure has a smell, you know. It's heavy, like the air when someone else gets cast in the role you dream about, like when the teacher's hand presses against your back a little too hard because your posture wasn't perfect. By 15, the stage wasn't magic anymore, it was a battlefield where one wrong move could erase you. Friends? You don't have real ones. You have competitors who smile in the mirror next to you and measure your worth in how many fouettes you can do before collapsing. Every audition feels like standing naked in front of a firing squad, your body picked apart by eyes that don't see you, they see flaws, they see numbers, they see whether you fit a mold that was never made for real girls. I remember nights lying in bed, muscles screaming, mind racing, wondering if this was what I wanted or what everyone else wanted for me. You tell yourself it's worth it, that pain is proof of passion, that sacrifice means you're strong. But deep down, a voice whispers that maybe you're just breaking for nothing. There's a moment every dancer faces when the music stops being beautiful and becomes a weapon. For me, it happened at 16. I had a torn ligament and didn't tell anyone because injuries aren't allowed in ballet, not really. They tell you to listen to your body, but they only mean it if your body says yes. So, I smiled, I danced through pain that burned like fire in my ankle, because I knew what happens to girls who sit out. They disappear. And disappearing felt worse than pain. The mirror turned cruel. It stopped reflecting a girl and started showing numbers. Too much here, not enough there. I'd stare at my own ribs, counting them like beads on a rosary, praying they were visible enough to keep me safe. That's the irony, you think ballet makes you strong, but it teaches you to fear softness. It teaches you that existing in your own body is a sin you must repent for every day. By 17, my hands shook every time I laced my shoes. Not from fear of falling, but from fear of not being perfect. Perfection isn't a goal in ballet, it's oxygen. You breathe it, you choke on it, and when you can't reach it, you suffocate. I gave up birthdays, friends, pieces of myself I can't get back, all for moments under a spotlight that felt too short to justify the years I spent bleeding for them. And the worst part? You start to believe that pain is love, that if it hurts, it must matter. That's how deep it gets inside you. People see the beauty. They clap, they cry, they think it's magic. But magic doesn't leave scars on your hips. Magic doesn't make 16-year-old girls hate the shape of their bones. Magic doesn't break your mind in ways no one claps for. They told me I was born to dance. What they didn't tell me is that the stage takes everything and gives nothing back. That's why it sucks to be a teenage ballet dancer, because by the time you realize what it costs, you're too broken to walk away.